The teleportation pad whinnied a metallic scream that scraped across the sensest and spat out a cloud of ionized particles, tinged with the unmistakable scent of burnt toast. When the haze thinned, Mika Hargreaves stood dead center, swaying like a sailor on her first storm. Her stomach churned, her ears popped. Reality tilted just enough to make her question gravity's loyalty. Instinctively, she reached for her duffel bag to ground herself, only to realize it wasn't where it should be.
Oh, that's new.
Her bag was floating, about 8 inches above the pad, because of course it was. Unknown voice. Musical, metallic. Think wind chimes shaken in a storm. First interstellar transport? Mika blinked, trying to refocus. A tall, stick-thin figure loomed before her, its 3 eyes stacked vertically and glowing with faint bioluminescence. Its skin, if it could be called that, was glassy and translucent. Blue fluid pulsed beneath its surface in lazy currents. It wore what resembled an administrator's uniform, except this one came with a full-body personal shield, buzzing quietly in a blue arc between them.
Yes. First time off Earth, actually.
She realized she was still clutching air where her bag should have been. With an awkward grab, she caught it mid-hover, doing her best to appear like someone who had a clue what was happening. The creature actually flinched, when she said, "Earth." It tapped its wrist device. The shield brightened.
I'm Administrator Plex. Welcome to Galactic Preparatory Academy. Your presence here is quite historic.
Thanks. Mika Hargreaves. Yes, the human.
The way Plex said human sounded less like an introduction and more like someone carefully announcing the arrival of an unexploded warhead.
Follow me, please. At a distance of at least 6 feet.
The hallways of the academy twisted in ways Mika's brain refused to map. Corners folded into themselves, gravity sloshed in pockets. She passed by beings suspended in fluid tanks, creatures built from light, and students who rippled in and out of 3 visible dimensions. Despite the vertigo, despite the strangeness, Mika grinned.
This is so cool.
Plex turned his head, his whole upper torso, all 3 eyes blinking in succession.
Yes. Well, we pride ourselves on accommodating all galactic citizens, even those from challenging environments.
That word again, challenging. Mika frowned. Earth wasn't perfecture. Super hurricanes, yes. But challenging? That felt pointed.
Here we are, your dormitory. The housing coordinator will take it from here. Please remember to disclose any environmental requirements that might prevent unfortunate incidents.
Before Mika could ask what unfortunate incidents meant, Plex was already halfway down the corridor, blue shield humming like a warning siren. Miss Trill, the housing coordinator, stood barely 4 feet tall. Her skin glistened like wet moss, and her large eyes blinked sideways. She wore something between a wetsuit and a hydration system, constantly dripping.
So, you're the Earth student. What an honor. Very bold program. Very bold.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Excited and increasingly aware that everyone was talking about Earth like it was a war zone.
You'll be rooming with Zixel. Very adaptable. Top marks in xenotolerance.
They walked past doors made of strange material sewn, pulsed with light. Another was clearly alive, and one door seemed to be devouring light itself. Miss Trill stopped at a plain metal door.
Here we are. Zixel's already inside. Try to make a good impression, First Earth student and all that.
The door slid open with a hiss. Inside, the dorm was split right down the middle on side standard bed, desk, shelves. The other resembled a hanging garden built by a spider with a taste for Art Deco. Something stirred inside the woven structure above. 6 limbs unfolded. A creature about Mika's size descended on a silken thread. Zixel's exoskeleton shimmered like a gasoline rainbow. Her enormous eyes flickered, dragonfly-like, shifting between hues Mika couldn't name.
Hi, I'm Mika. Looks like we're roommates.
Zixel froze. Her limbs locked. A whine built in her thorax, shrill and panicked.
You're from Earth?
Yeah. Portland, Oregon, United America, specifically.
Zixel bolted, bumping into the wall behind her as she scrambled back up.
Miss Trill, there's been a mistake. The problem? You didn't say she was from Earth. I can't room with us Deathworlder.
A what? Miss Trill looked like she'd swallowed a fishbone.
Zixel, we discussed this. No. My enrollment contract specifically states I'm not to be exposed to Class 5 environmental hazards. Humans leak bacteria. They have exposed flesh. They eat toxins for fun.
Mika looked at her hands. Freckled, clean, not exactly oozing danger.
I'm not hazardous.
Zixel from the door with urgency.
No offense to your species, but I'm rather attached to being alive.
And just like that, Zixel was gone. Miss Trill sighed, her voice gurgling like a draining sink.
I do apologize. We should have anticipated this. Zixel's kind are sensitive, raised in perfectly controlled environments. Earthlings, well, you're different.
I'm vaccinated. I passed all the screenings. What's the problem?
It's not what you carry, it's what you are. Earth is classified as a Class 5 death world.
Excuse me, a what now?
Planet so dangerous, most species would perish there in hours. Volatile weather, aggressive microbes, constant tectonic activity. Frankly, it's a miracle your kind evolved intelligence at all.
But it's just home.
Exactly. Which makes you remarkable and, understandably, terrifying. We'll assign you a private room. For safety, theirs and yours.
As Miss Trill led her away, Mika felt a sinking in her gut that had nothing to do with teleportation. The next day, Mika sat across from Mr. Yorn, her guidance counselor. He looked like a plush bat 4 eyes, twitchy nose, nervous energy. No shield, but his desk looked suspiciously reinforced.
Now then, your academic record from Earth is impressive.
Thank you. I was top of my class in science and math. Even took exobiology after we joined the Federation.
Yes, very commendable. However, educational standards do vary, particularly for species from challenging environments.
There it was again, that word.
I don't understand.
Well, species who evolve where survival is a constant struggle often invest less in formal education. Nothing to be ashamed of. Many Deathworlders eventually catch up.
Mika's face grew hot.
Are you saying you think I'm stupid because I'm from Earth?
Not stupid. He looked genuinely horrified. Never that. Simply, differently prioritized. Your brain evolved to help you survive acid rain and predator attacks, not to solve transdimensional calculus.
I got a perfect score on my Earth mathematics exams.
Yes, Earth mathematics. Very good for what they are. But we'll start you with the remedial curriculum. To be safe, you can always advance if you show aptitude.
By the time Mika left Mr. Yorn's office with her class schedule, she was livid. Remedial classes. She'd been reading college-level textbooks since she was 12. Her parents, both university professors, had raised her to be curious, capable, confident, and now she was being treated like an intellectual toddler because her planet had weather. Only her pride kept her from calling Earth and demanding a return shuttle. No, she'd show all of them what a Deathworlder could do. Professor Zilk's classroom looked like a cross between an amphitheater and an aquarium. Tiered seating surrounded a central platform where a floating, transparent sphere held a mass of gently pulsing tentacles suspended in blue gel. A voice issued from speakers hidden throughout the chamber.
Welcome, students, to Xenobiology 101. I am Professor Zilk.
Mika slipped into a middle row seat, trying to ignore how the other students subtly shifted away. Word had spread the human from Earth. She kept her eyes forward, refusing to let their reactions sting. Today, Professor Zilk's tentacles rippled excitement, maybe.
We begin our exploration of the galaxy's most dangerous environments and their evolutionary monstrosities.
A hologram shimmered to life Earth, blue-green, spinning slowly in space.
Earth. One of only 6 known Class 5 death worlds to produce intelligent life. The image zoomed, Death Valley's cracked surface, Everest's wind-scoured summit, the black moor of the Mariana Trench. On most habitable worlds, Environmental conditions remain relatively stable. Temperature variations rarely exceed 20 degrees. Atmospheric pressure, gravity, and radiation maintain consistent levels. Not so on Earth, where a creature might freeze to death at night and boil alive by day in the same location. The image changed. A great white shark lunging, a Komodo dragon with venomous drool, a tiger mid-pounce. Earth's apex predators possess staggering offensive adaptations. Yet somehow, against all odds, they are not the dominant species. Humans conquer their death world not with fangs or armor but with endurance, adaptability, and cooperative problem-solving.
Dozens of eyes turned toward Mika.
The average human can survive temperature swings that would kill most species. They can lose liters of blood and still function. They can break bones and keep fighting. They ingest substances fatal to most galactic life and find them spicy.
A murmur rolled through the room. Professor Zilk.
Let's begin with an open question. Who can name Earth's most lethal natural environment?
Studentin, bioluminescent tendril résé. Thoughtful.
The deep ocean trenches. The pressure would crush most beings.
Professor Zilk.
Excellent. The pressure would reduce most of us to paste. Yet humans explore even these zones with technology.
Student 2, crystalline, soft, echoing.
The polar regions. Cold enough to solidify gases.
Professor Zilk. Indeed. Exposed flesh freezes within minutes. Yet humans thrive even there. Mika, sharp, fed up.
The deserts.
Silence fell like a dropped stone. Professor Zilk, cautious.
Quite right. Have you experienced such an environment personally?
I've hiked through the Sonoran Desert every spring since I was 8. It's beautiful when the cacti bloom.
A student up front, something gelatinous with eye stalks, made a deflating squeal and fainted. Professor Zilk's fear bobbled anxiously.
I see. How? Educational.
Narrator. His tentacles writhed. Mika was learning that meant stress. Professor Zilk.
Would you care to share other personal experiences with extreme Earth environments?
The rest of the class became a surreal interrogation. Mika described.
Swimming in the ocean.
Professor Zilk, shocked. You voluntarily immerse yourself in a medium you cannot breathe? Camping in a thunderstorm.
Atmospheric electrical discharges capable of vaporizing trees.
Eating my mom's chili.
Professor Zilk, aghast.
You ingest capsaicin for pleasure.
By the end, 3 more students had fainted. Professor Zilk had checked his containment sphere's seals a dozen times. As she packed up, Mika heard whispers behind her. Student whispers, overlapping, horrified. Monster from a nightmare world. Eats things that fight back. No exoskeleton. She walked out with her head held high. But inside, something ached. She'd come to GPA excited to meet new species, see the galaxy, make friends. Instead, they stared at her like she was a horror movie villain. In the corridor, a few students huddled away as she passed. One wore a hazmat suit. Mika blinked hard and kept walking. Mika poked at her lunch, a flavorless paste designed for oxygen breathers of all kinds. A small, fuzzy shadow fell across her table. Is it true you can regrow your limbs? She looked up. The creature resembled a stretched-out hamster with huge, gleaming eyes. No protective gear. No distance. Just curiosity.
No, that's not a human thing.
Oh, his whiskers drooped. What about drinking poison for fun?
Well, some humans drink alcohol. Technically toxic, not exactly poison.
Fascinating. Immense. Xenobiology and extreme environments major.
Mika, human and apparent walking disaster.
His nose twitched in amusement.
Mind if I sit? I have so many questions. Is it true you have storms that can lift entire buildings?
For the first time since arriving, Mika felt its connection. Someone wanted to talk to her.
Tornadoes? Yeah, mostly in the Midwest. I've never seen one up close, though.
Maz sat across from her, tail coiled around a chair leg.
And the thing with the microorganisms inside you, that's true too.
Mika, our microbiome. Yeah, they help digest food and fight infection. Mozinov, amazing. Most species would call that a severe infection. Narrator. They talked all through lunch. Maz had endless questions. Mika answered them: all sunburns, allergies, thunder. Maz exited. Hey, the Xenobiology Club's doing a field trip to Lunax 3 next week. Floating spore forests, cave systems. Nothing like Earth, of course. You should come. Mika, cautious, hopeful. Really? You think they'd let me? Maz grinning. Professor Zilk's the faculty advisor. He's obsessed with you. Besides, who wouldn't want a Deathworlder on a potentially dangerous expedition? Narrator. Mika couldn't tell if he was joking, but it didn't matter. Someone wanted her there, not despite being human. Because of it. Mika, soft, determined. Count me in. Narrator, shifting to Lunax 3 prep. The research vessel was compact and bristling with safety gear. Professor Zilk's containment sphere hovered near the front, ringed with holo displays of the moon's terrain. Professor Zilk, Lunax 3, a small moon with diverse biomes. Today we'll explore the floating spore forests and cave systems. Narrator, 2 security officers stood by the exit. One kept glancing at Mika Hand on a stun baton. She pretended not to notice, focused instead on Maz's excited chatter beside her. Maz buzzing with excitement. The caves have bioluminescent fungi that communicate through light. It's gorgeous. Mika, sounds amazing. Mats, mischievous. They're also mildly hallucinogenic. Don't breathe too deep. Narrator. As the ship lifted off, Mika caught whispers behind her. Narrator. Calm, observant tone. Why'd they bring the human? Probably wants to study how it reacts. They use fungi as recreational drugs. Mika sighed, turning to look out the viewport. The academy shrank beneath them, its gleaming towers set against a surreal, alien landscape, purple vegetation rippling under orange skies. In another life, it would have been breathtaking. Her first view of an alien world from orbit. Instead, it felt like she was being shipped off for dissection. Maz, soft, earnest whisper. Don't mind them, they're just nervous. You're the first Deathworlder they've ever met. Once they get to know you, they'll realize you're not going to eat them or anything. Mika, dry, half joking. Is that actually a concern? Maz, shrugging casual. Well, there are stories. Not about humans, though. The crawls supposedly eat brain stems to absorb knowledge. Mika, appalled, then hushed. That's horrifying. We don't do that. We don't eat sentient beings. Narrator, lightly amused. Maz, trying to reassure.
See, you're already less terrifying than the crawl.
Somehow, that didn't make Mika feel much better. Lunax 3 was beautiful. Low gravity let massive lavender-hued puffballs drift lazily across the landscape spore forests, glowing softly as they released sparkling particles into the air. Professor Zilk led the students along a bio-cleared path, his containment sphere outfitted with sleek manipulator arms. 2 armed security officers flanked the groupon of them, subtly eyeing Mika, with a hand resting on his stun baton.
This place is amazing. Those flying things, manta mites. Totally harmless, probably.
Professor Zilk, projecting calmly.
The spore forests serve as ecosystems for numerous airborne species. Their life cycles are highly symbiotic.
Students clustered close to Zilk. Around Mika, there was a bubble of conspicuous emptiness again. Only Maz stayed near, eyes wide, soaking it all in.
Next, we'll explore the cave systems. Remember to activate breathing filters once we're inside.
The entrance loomed ahead, a jagged wound in a cliff of purple stone. A cool breeze flowed from the depths, laced with minerals and a faint, sweet fungal aroma. Inside, the space opened into a cathedral of light. Bioluminescent stalactites shimmered blue. The walls pulsed with mushroom-like growths, in slow waves of color blue to green to purple.
They're talking in lights.
Correct. Lumini fungi communicate via photonic pulses transmitting environmental data, warnings, and nutrient needs. Some xenobiologists theorize they may form a collective intelligence.
The group moved deeper, squeezing through tight spaces. One student, a reptilian named Taz, whose scales flickered yellow-green, kept glancing nervously upward. Feels like it's going to collapse.
These caves have been stable for millennia.
Which is exactly when the universe decided to prove him wrong. The ground shivered. A low rumble rolled beneath their feet. Pebbles rattled down the walls.
That is unusual.
A second tremor cracked the rock around them. Security officer, sharp, commanding, back to the entrance, quickly and calmly. But it was too late. A violent quake thundered through the cave. A section of the ceiling came crashing down, severing Mika, Maz, and 3 others from the rest of the group. When the dust settled, the passage was gone, choked with stone.
Professor Zilk, can you hear us?
Is everyone alive?
They're okay, just trapped.
Remain calm. We'll send for excavation equipment. Stay where you are. Conserve oxygen.
The last words sent a ripple of panic through the group.
How long will that take?
Several hours, minimum.
Another tremor shook the floor. A sharp crack echoed from Krill's water tank. A fissure bloomed across its surface, water beginning to leak.
Professor, Krill's tank is damaged. We need help faster.
Silence. The line was dead.
They're on our own.
Mika looked around. Taz, paralyzed. Krill, floating helplessly. Jiv, crystallized, flickering in every direction. Panic was setting in. They were all waiting for someone to save them. But Earth hadn't raised her that way.
No, we're not just going to sit here and wait to suffocate. We find another way out.
The others stared at her like she'd grown extra limbs.
But the professor said...
We don't have time. Krill won't last. We move. Now.
She dropped her field pack and started unpacking it.
Maz, map. Even partial data helps.
Right. It's incomplete, but here.
Jiv, you said your crystal lattice can detect vibrations?
Yes. My facets can resonate with density variations.
Good. Find thinnest walls. Taz, your species has low light vision. You're our scout.
How do you know all that?
Xenobiology homework. Now focus.
She unpacked a thermal blanket, water, a compact toolkit, and something that looked like a militarized Swiss Army knife.
Krill, I'm stabilizing your tank. You'll be okay.
No more waiting. No more being the outcast. No more fear. This was what humans did. They adapted, they survived, and right now they led. I need something waterproof and flexible, Mika muttered, eyes scanning her gear. Then she looked down at her uniform. In one swift, fluid motion, she stripped off her outer jacket and cut a patch from the lining with her multi-tool.
What are you doing?
Making a temporary seal.
She pressed the patch over the crack in Krill's tank, securing it with quick-setting adhesive from her kit. Then she wrapped the thermal blanket around the tank, an extra layer of insulation.
If we can find water deeper in the caves, we can refill your tank.
The other students stared in stunned silence as Mika worked. When she finally straightened, her voice cut through the stillness with quiet authority.
Here's the situation. We're trapped. The air is thinning, the temperature's dropping, and those flying things.
She pointed. Several bat-like forms circled at the edge of their light.
They're getting curious. We need to find another exit before Krill's tank fails or we run out of breathable air.
But how? We don't even know if there is another exit.
Most cave systems have more than one. Air has to circulate somehow.
Maz, let me see that map. The datapad displayed their position in 3 branching tunnels. Beyond that, only blank space.
Okay, this one slopes down. Water tends to collect at low points. If there's an underground pool, it might be that way. That could save Krill.
But exits are usually above, not below.
Sometimes, the only way out is following the water down until it finds daylight.
Another tremor shook the floor. Cracks laced the ceiling. One of the bat creatures swooped closer, needle-like teeth flashing.
We move. Now.
The passage narrowed, forcing them single file. Cold seeped in, breath fogged. Bioluminescence dimmed, leaving long shadows between ghost blue glows. Taz led with confident steps, his night vision guiding them. Jeev pressed against walls, sensing tremors. Mika stayed close to Krill, steadying the tank. Maz took the rear, ears twitching, watching the dark.
Air is getting thin. Respiratory efficiency is dropping.
Mika felt the Tulung's burning headlight. Maz stumbled slightly. Jiv's crystalline edges softened.
You'll find better air soon. Just keep moving.
They entered a smaller chamber unexpectedly. A pool of faintly glowing liquid shimmered at the center.
Water, silicone-based, non-toxic, close enough to water for Krill's biology.
Good enough.
She positioned Krill's tank beside the pool. The patch was bulging seconds from bursting. Working fast, she opened a seal and siphoned the liquid in, maintaining just enough pressure to keep Krill submerged. Her hands moved with calm efficiency, despite the cold, despite the thinning air. When it was done, the tank was full again, but the cracks still glistened with danger.
Thank you. On my world, running out of our native medium is the worst death.
On Earth, the worst death is giving up. That's why we don't.
She turned. Taz was slumped against a rock. His scales had faded to a sickly gray-green.
Taz, you're starving for oxygen. Listen to me.
She took his hands, voice firm but calm. Slow, deep breaths, like this. Inhale, exhale. She guided him. After a few moments, his chest steadied. Color returned to his scales.
How did you...
Mountain climbing. Earth's air gets thin at high altitudes. We train for it.
Taz stared at her, stunned.
My family climbs Mount Hood every summer.
The aliens exchanged glances. What kind of nightmare? World raises children to climb mountains for fun. A high-pitched shriek cut the air. The bad creatures were back and closing in.
We need weapons.
Her eyes fell on broken stalactites, sharp, spear-like. She grabbed one, tested its weight, and broke off several more.
Take one. Aim for wings or eyes. Show them we're not prey.
Physical combat? Isn't that extremely dangerous?
More dangerous than being eaten?
One creature dove. Mika jabbed upward with a yell. It screeched and veered off.
See? Predators don't like prey that fights back.
Armed with glowing spears, they moved on. The tunnel twisted, narrowed, open. Strange minerals glittered like stars.
I sense vibration, rhythmic, flowing.
An underground river.
They followed Jiv's lead, descending toward the sound. The air grew damper. Faint rushing filled their ears. At last, they reached a ledge overlooking a massive, glowing river.
There, downstream light.
Orange daylight filtered through an opening far ahead, real sunlight. An exit.
We made it. But how do we get there? That current.
My tank floats. It can carry weight. If we secure ourselves, it becomes a raft.
Risky.
You saved me. Let me return the favor.
Using strips of jacket and vines, they fashioned crude harnesses. Jiv, being the heaviest, would ride atop the tank.
Everyone ready? Foreheads nodded. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
They pushed off. The tank splashed into the glowing river, carried swiftly by the current. Maz and Ma clung to the sides. Taz held the rear. Jiv balanced like a living rudder. The bats followed, screeching, but eventually faded into the dark. The exit loomed a jagged hole, spilling golden light. But Mika felt the change in current faster, steeper. Her stomach dropped.
Waterfall! Raise yourselves!
They flew out of the cave airborne for one terrifying heartbeat. Narrator, calm, awe-struck tone. Then gravity reasserted itself. They plummeted, and with a roar of water and wind slammed into the glowing pool below. The impact punched the air from Mika's lungs. She lost her grip on Krill's tank, somersaulting through the phosphorescent depths. Up was down, her limbs flailed, her chest screamed. Just as blackness began to bloom at the edge of her vision, she broke the surface, gasping.
Maz, Taz, Krill, Jiv.
One by one they surfaced. Maz, sodden and wide-eyed, paddled in frantic circles. Taz thrashed powerfully toward the bank, his tail propelling him like a torpedo. Krill's tank bobbed nearby, miraculously intact, with Jiv still clinging to the top like a gleaming figurehead. They dragged themselves onto the shore, muddy, glowing, breathless, but alive.
No, Mika made it. The Deathworlders saved us all.
Before Mika could answer, a shadow loomed above them. A familiar containment sphere descended, flanked by security officers, drones, and stunned classmates. Professor Zilk hovered at the center, his tentacles twitching in sheer disbelief.
Impossible. By all statistical models, you should be dead.
Mika stood slowly, dripping, scratched, half her jacket missing. Her curls were wild with river water, but her eyes bright, human, defiant, burned with unshakable pride.
Statistical models don't account for Deathworlders.
Word spread through Galactic Preparatory Academy like wildfire. By the time Mika returned to her dorm after a thorough medical exam that left alien physicians baffled and slightly horrified, her reputation had transformed. Gone were the whispers of fear. Now came respect, curiosity, awe. They said she'd fought off dozens of predators, built advanced tools from stone, held her breath for 10 minutes, carried 3 aliens to safety. None of it was strictly true, but Mika didn't correct them. The truth was impressive enough. 3 days later, Professor Zilk summoned her after class. His sphere hovered quietly. No barriers, no distance, just him, thoughtful.
I've been revising my curriculum. Your actions on Lunex 3 challenge our assumptions about Class 5 species.
What we once saw as brutish survivalism now appears to be adaptive brilliance.
So Earth isn't just a death world, it's a training ground.
Possibly the best one in the sector.
His tone had changed. Gone was the caution, gone was the fear. In its place, genuine admiration.
I'd be honored.
The changes didn't stop there. Mr. Yorn, visibly sheepish, called her in.
After re-evaluating your testing metrics, you'll be moved to standard curriculum. Effective immediately.
Thank you. I look forward to the challenge.
Her new roommate Pelk was a Millis who communicated via shimmering color pulses. She claimed her interest in Earth was purely scientific. But every time Mika told a story from home, Pelk's shell flushed a warm pink. Even Zixel, her old roommate, approached her in the dining hall.
I wish to apologize. My actions were born of ignorance. Your abilities are admirable.
Earth is terrifying. I don't blame you for being cautious.
I would like to learn more, if you're willing to teach me.
And so she did. She taught all of them: fire starting, water purification, shelter building, how to listen to your environment instead of scanning it, closing ceremony, narrator. At term's end, the amphitheater brimmed with students and staff. Administrator Plex stood at the central podium, no personal shield this time, just 3 blinking eyes and a surprisingly sincere voice. Plex, ceremonial, clear. This term has taught us many things. Chief among them, never underestimate what survival really means. Narrator. His gaze swept the crowd, then landed on Mika.
It is my honor to present a commendation for exemplary crisis performance to Mika Hargreaves of Earth.
Applause rippled through the chamber. Tentacles waved, wings fluttered, claws tapped respectfully. Mika rose and walked to the stage, mud-stained boots and all.
And, due to the success of our first exchange, the Galactic Education Initiative has approved 5 more Earth students for next term.
Migafil Herr Hartsville.
Would you care to say a few words?
When I got here, I didn't think of myself as dangerous. I thought I was just a normal girl who liked hiking and science. But coming here, seeing myself through your eyes, I understand now. Earth is hard, and we've adapted to survive it. But so have all of you. Jiv can sense molecular shifts through stone. Taz sees in darkness. Krill lights up the dark. Ma hears what no one else can. We're not just weirdos from weird worlds. We're all survivors. And I'm proud to be from mine.
Applause thundered. Even Zilk's tentacles applauded in tight, excited spirals. Later, at the reception, Mika overheard two security officers whispering. The Federation military wants Earth graduates. Says they'd make perfect explorers. Science Directorate, too, might overhaul the classification system entirely. Mika smiled. She turned toward her friends Maz, Jiv, Krill, Tazu were waiting with glowing drinks and even brighter eyes.
To the Deathworld, the planet that taught us. Surviving isn't about hiding from danger, it's about walking into it.
Ol, Domika. As their glasses clinked, Mika looked out across the alien horizon, purple skies, triple suns, strange flora swaying in the breeze. She had found her place, not by pretending to be like them, but by being exactly what she was. Mika Hargreaves, Earthling, Deathworlder, student, survivor, and friend?